Kirby. I am the Regional Vice President at Unitron in the Northeast region, and I have two guests with me today. We have Walter Bass, he is the head of OneSource, and Courtney Smith, who is our Senior Manager for Audiology and Education here at Unitron. So, a couple housekeeping things before we get into this. So, as you join, you've noticed that your computer and your mic are muted. We did this on purpose to make sure that we can create the best virtual experience for everyone. The chat function is open and available, so please feel free to type in any questions or comments along the way. Depending on time, we'll address as needed during the presentation, if not at the end of the presentation, or we will follow up individually with you to make sure your question is answered. And then CEUs, we will have a code at the end, and you will receive that within 2 to 3 weeks at the email address that you used to register for today's event. So from there, I will turn it over to Walter Bass.
Hey, thanks, Renee. Yeah, my name is Walter Bass with OneSource Hearing. This was a great opportunity for us to really showcase the partnership between OneSource Hearing and Unitron in that, you know, in today's world, our healthcare, the consumer has really changed quite a bit in that, you know, they don't want to be just considered a patient anymore. They display all of the behaviors of consumers, and because they do that, their expectations as consumers are even greater. So meeting those expectations is really important, and the clinical aspect of it requires having great technology that enables you to create an awesome patient experience on the clinical side. And then, from a business-minded standpoint, some of the things that we could do at OneSource to help you from a business perspective to do things to meet the customer experience expectations of your own patients. So we're really going to be talking about that through most of today in terms of the technology and how great it is and what it does, how it helps the customer, and then what OneSource can do to help you as a practice to make sure you're delivering a great consumer experience to your patients as well. So it's a good marriage between the both of us. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to you, Courtney, and thank you.
Thank you, Walter. And I'm glad you mentioned experience, because Unitron is an experience brand. And so just, from my perspective, and I'm the manager of audiology and education at our company, I drive all of our educational content, but this is kind of our mantra and our motto at Unitron, and we weave this throughout every single thing that we do here at our company. And so before we get to the details about the technology, I just want to remind you all that this is what Unitron is really about. It's about loving the experience and having your patients have a journey that they're going through when they're addressing their hearing loss. And so we want that to be a positive experience for both the patient and the provider. And everything we do is so that we can make this possible. So in also doing that, we have these 3 brand pillars at our company: easy to wear, easy to hear, easy for you. So you're going to hear the word easy a lot today throughout our presentation. We are very dedicated to delivering on each of these 3 brand pillars. So you'll hear a lot about them. And they're the fundamental pillars that guide everything we do. And how do we do that? So we want to make sure our products for every single patient of ours are easy to wear. We want our hearing aids to be stylish and easy to put on and comfortable for patients to use throughout their day. We want our products to make it easy for our patients to hear. We know that when patients come in with an issue with their hearing loss, these are the things that get patients into our office. They want to hear their family. They want to go on a road trip with their spouse and not get in arguments. And we want to make all those situations easier for them. So we're highly focused on sound performance and driving that quality sound performance to make it effortless for your patients to hear and understand what's going on around them, no matter what kind of environment they find themselves in. And lastly, our Easy for You brand pillar means that we want our products and our software to be easy for you to use as a provider and easy for patients to use throughout their journey. We've built in tools so that they can, throughout the journey, utilize things that open up their world and make the experience an easy path. And so, because we're here to talk about smiling a little bit first, we're just thinking about in the chat, if you'd like to type in or just think about this for a second, what makes you smile? I know that we're kind of highly focused on smiling today, and that's because of the technology I'm about to present to you, but just getting everybody into that positive mindset and think for a second about something in your life that makes you smile. If you wish to share it with us, you can feel free to type it into the chat. And so what I'm so excited to talk to you all about today is our brand new technology here at Unitron. And I'm so excited that OneSource Hearing has given me an opportunity to present today about this device. We are so excited about Smile. And I'm so excited to teach all of you what it has to offer your patients. Smile launched on May 15th, 2025. So we're almost 8 weeks into this launch, which is incredible. It's been an incredible experience. So we came out with Moxie SR, our brand new Smile product in every technology level. And what I'm going to do today is teach you what Smile has to offer in each of these 3 brand pillars. First of all, we'll go into our easy to wear brand pillar. And so I want to teach you all how Smile is reliable and you can count on it with your patients. I want to teach you all about our new receivers. They're called SDS6. And we're also going to learn about our brand new ability to charge on the go with Smile. And here's a close-up of the Moxie SR. If you've worked with Unitron before, you know that the word Moxie just is another word for RIC, or receiver in the canal. And this is a close-up of Smile. So you'll see that we've changed the design of this hearing instrument a little bit from our previous platform. We have those 4 microphone ports that you can see on either side, and they're nice and covered up, and they're not out and exposed to the elements like you may have seen in the past. So a really nice design for the enhanced reliability that we're offering in this product. We do have new receivers, very easy to use, no longer need to search for that pin tool in your office to replace them. So we'll go into a little bit more about all of these things, but wanted you all to see a nice close-up of Smile. These are our 2 charger options with Smile. We have a standard charger, which you'll see on the left, the Charger RIC S, and we also have the option to charge on the go. Both of these options provide easy, flexible, and reliable charging options to keep your patients powered up all day. The new Charger Go features a built-in battery, and when it is fully charged, the new Charger Go will supply 3 additional full charges to the hearing aids without being plugged into an outlet. It's really easy to travel with. My patients that are on the go or traveling or hopping in the Winnebago this summer will absolutely love this option because they can stay charged no matter what they're doing. And if they live an active lifestyle, they don't have to worry about finding an outlet or plugging in. And you'll see the difference in the charger because there is that light that you can see. I'm just going to back up for a second. That light in the center of the Charger Go, that green light, is what differentiates the 2 chargers. So now just a closer look at the SDS6 receivers. These are brand new receivers. And here's a close-up of the connection. You'll see these 8 gold-coated contact points, 4 on each side, and the corresponding new snap lock mechanism. So you don't need to remove the pin to pull the receiver out. You can kind of plug it in with a nice gentle nudge, and that receiver will plug in and come unplugged anytime. with gentle force. And there's that new gasket ring as well. So we want to ensure a nice, tight, moisture resistant connection in this hearing aid. These receivers do address that. And there's a best practice as far as inserting and removing the receiver. You want to make sure you remove it pushing down a little bit and not in the upwards direction. Providers are having a really easy time getting used to the new receivers, and it is very easy for them to be changed anytime. We do send this with our orders, so if you have a question about replacing your receiver, you can just go ahead and check that guide. Our receivers have 4 power levels and 5 receiver lengths. As in the past, this has not changed with our new platform. We do, however, have a new length. So you will see that 00, so people with those very small ears, tiny ears do now have an option available. Please note that if you're going to use an ultra power receiver, which is always encased in a seashell, you will not be able to order a seashell for 00. All the other lengths are available. We have a nice range of options, so whatever type of hearing loss your patient has, you can see in this slide. The performance profiles of our various receivers do allow for a tremendous amount of power, a nice wide dynamic range of gain, and so whatever your patient needs, we have something for them. Reliability is very important to us at Unitron, and we've done some work to address reliability to make sure that this product is something that you can count on. We have put this hearing aid through extensive testing, encapsulating that rechargeable battery, and coating the internal electronics with Parylene. So this is really, really nice to know, because we want you to make sure as you're recommending Smile to your patients, you can tell them that they can count on it. Here are the color options in Smile, wrapping up our easy to wear brand pillar. And I'm going to kick it over to Walter.
Yeah, thanks, Courtney. I really appreciate that. So the technology is one aspect of providing a great consumer experience. We said before that the patient really does care about the consumer experience that they have as much as the care that they receive. And to prove that point, there's a company called Vanguard. Anyway, they do reporting for the healthcare industry so that they can give that information to owners to adjust accordingly. And one of the things that they looked at was the customer reviews of primary care physicians. And when they looked at them, they saw that 5-star reviews were the bulk of the reviews that providers got. But they focused on the 1 and 2 stars and really dug into what was behind that. And in almost 90% of the time, actually over 90% of the time, it had nothing to do with the clinical care they were receiving. It was something related to the consumer experience that they had an expectation around that wasn't being met. So next slide, Courtney, please. So the bottom line is this, then, great provider, great technology, that isn't by itself going to provide the consumer experience that your patient demands. You're just not going to overcome a bad consumer experience with the care that you can receive or the technology. So all of that really has to happen at the same time to truly provide a great consumer experience for your patient. So next slide, please. So when we think of the consumer experience, we kind of think of it in 3 different stages. There's, the consumer trying to figure out where to go and what to do in the pre-purchase stage. And then once they make a decision and visit the practice, that's point of purchase. And then everything beyond that is post-purchase. And for all of those stages, the consumer has expectations. So for example, in the pre-purchase stage, your marketing is a big part of bringing people through the door, and that's something OneSource can help you with. But on top of that, something you need to do to make sure you meet the consumer expectations is to scream that you provide a great consumer experience in the patient's pre-purchase stage. So making sure that you have like a great digital presence, great reviews, a large number of those reviews ranking high towards the top. all the way through, them picking up the phone and calling you and making sure that you're providing a great experience for your consumer on the phone through your PCC. And then at each of the other stages, point of purchase, post purchase, there are things that you need to do to meet the expectations of the consumer at each of those stages. And they're not clinically related in that it's really got nothing to do with you as the provider or the technology. It's things you have to do for your practice that actually meets the consumer expectation. And we can help you with that. That's the great partnership between OneSource and Unitron, is that it's a great marriage between technology and business tools to help you meet the consumer experience on either side. One more, if you would, Courtney. Thanks. So on top of that, there is a direct financial ROI in doing some of the things. So what I picked here was, if we were to work with a front office person to really say and do things on the phone that meet the expectations of the consumer, meaning not sound like you're calling your own primary care physician's office, which is just a cold and miserable phone call. This has to be the complete flip of that to really provide the experience that your consumer demands, especially if they're going to be handing over a few $1,000 to you. But in training a PCC to provide a great consumer experience, it also increases their lead to appointment conversion rate. So what that means to you is, if we can move a lead to appointment conversion rate by 10 points, which is a very realistic thing to do, you can see in going from 65 to 75% lead to appointment conversion rate, meaning out of 10 calls that I get, how many of them do I convert into an appointment on the schedule? Just by driving that 10 points, we can increase your total monthly revenue by $4,000, which, when you add that up over a year, is really a lot of money. And the best thing is, it doesn't cost you anything for us to do that. So again, we can help you drive a great consumer experience, and along the way, in doing so, also drive greater financial ROI for you at the same time. So great marriage between the two of us. Back to you, Courtney.
Thank you so much, Walter. And just hearing more about how OneSource Hearing makes the business side of hearing care easier really is a great add into this Smile presentation. And so I really appreciate you offering these words of wisdom and highlights for all of our customers here today. And I do want to transition now into Smile technology once again to teach you all how Smile makes it easy for your patients to hear. And so we have made some big gains with this product. We have jumped ahead significantly with our universal connectivity and what it can do. We have some new enhancements I want to highlight for all of you for both noisy and quiet situations. We know that our patients present with challenges in all kinds of listening situations. I want to talk about how Smile makes it easier for them to hear and perform when they need to. And we'll talk about the evidence that we have now to back that up. We have some exciting research to share. And a big part of Smile and what I'm so excited about this technology is that we have the Era chip. So the Era chip is the heart of Smile. It delivers stability, it delivers power. It has 74% more memory and faster processing than our previous chip in Vivante. And this chip it's smaller than a Tic Tac, but it is small but mighty. We have over 6 times more wireless transmission power with this chip, and we can stream over 2 times the distance that we could before. So with this chip, we're allowing our patients better connectivity, more stability. We're offering our providers faster fittings, and all of this is part of what makes Smile so great. Integra OS is our audiological engine at Unitron, and it runs like a machine. And so whether your patient is sharing a laugh with friends over dinner, or catching a story at a family gathering, or dancing at a wedding with longtime friends, Smile is going to adapt in real time and adjust the features and the hearing aid for whatever your patient needs in the moment. And that's the great power of what we can do with today's technology. Patients using Smile will experience more stability because of what the Era chip can do in this patented antenna design. We're able to take our connectivity to the next level. And patients will experience better stability, whether their phone is maybe in their bag and a greater distance from their hearing aid. The hearing aid, the chip and Smile can tell which hearing aid, right or left, has a better connection with the device that the patient's streaming from, and it can switch back and forth based on which hearing aid has the better connection. So this results in patients experiencing better stability in calls. So patients that are calling out will find that that person they're calling will have an easier and better time hearing them when they're speaking. And that seamless connection to whatever hearing aid has a stronger connection to Bluetooth at the moment really helps patients be able to have seamless phone calls, seamless streaming experiences, which we know how important this is to people in today's day and age. Most people are connected to more than one device anymore. Smile also has the ability to connect actively to 2 devices at once. So reminding your patients that if they're connected to whatever type of phone it is, whatever device it is, laptop, cell phone, if it has Bluetooth, we can connect. And our audiological engine, Integra OS, has over 2 decades of AI training. It's fast, it's accurate, so it knows in the moment exactly what features are going to support your patient after reading the room around them. It's pretty amazing and mind-blowing if you really think about it. But you could tell these Smile patients that when they transition from situation to situation, they don't have to do anything. They don't have to think about what setting might be best. The hearing aid is doing that for them. And so how does Smile deliver in these highly complex, noisy situations? We know that our patients come into our offices struggling in these moments where they're at a fun place and they're trying to engage with their family, but they're maybe left sitting there, or they have to isolate themselves because they can't understand and hear what's going on. Smile has supportive features for these situations. Autofocus 360 is a huge one. It highlights speech wherever it is around the patient. So we know speech does not always come from the front. And when speech is coming from varying directions, Autofocus 360 can highlight that speech around your patient wherever it is with its unique beam forming pattern. Dynamic noise reduction is a feature in Smile that really helps bring that speech out of the noise. So when there's a din or when there's competition and the system identifies speech, dynamic noise reduction can help to lift that speech out of the noise, especially suppressing noise from the rear hemisphere and highlighting what's coming from the front. Hyperfocus is also an amazing, nice, narrow directional beam that we came out with in our previous platform, Vivante. And this is a nice focused beam that comes on automatically when the conditions around your patient are met. So when speech is coming from the front, noise around your patient is sufficiently loud, and your patient is not moving. So they're standing there at a busy restaurant having a conversation or sitting still. Hyperfocus will come on and highlight that directional front conversation. In Smile, what we did, because Hyperfocus was really helping patients, we wanted to know, how can we make this even better? So what we did is we added dynamic noise reduction into Hyperfocus. So now in Smile, these two work as partners. And this is a very exciting change. And we have some data to share as to how this makes your patient's life better. And Smile patients, when we looked at the research, we found that Hyperfocus and dynamic noise reduction gave patients about a 5 dB improvement in signal to noise ratio. This is fantastic news. When we set Hyperfocus with DNR to the maximum in TrueFit, we saw an even bigger change, a 6.2 difference, which is absolutely awesome. A 6.2 dB improvement in signal to noise ratio translates into about a 20% improvement in speech intelligibility. So that goes from, maybe getting 60% on a test to getting 80% on a speech test for your patient. That's a huge difference. This technology is available in our level 9 technology as part of the automatic program. And in both the level 7 and the level 9, patients can access hyperfocus with DNR, as we sometimes call it, as a manual program. So they can access it that way as well. And for low complexity environments, these softer situations, we know patients spend a fair amount of time in quiet. So Smile addresses quiet situations with soft speech. We want to boost those subtle cues and leave the noise alone so patients have an easier time hearing soft conversations. You can see in this graphic with soft speech off versus on the differences that we see in those speech peaks. And we have some nice, strong data to share about how soft speech, how this feature in Smile really helps speech understanding and reduces listening effort. We know patients are tired, they're straining, they're coming into us for help. So you can tell your Smile patients, hey, there's a soft speech feature that will help when your grandkids whisper, or when you're trying to have those softer conversations with a friend next to you at church. There is a feature in Smile that's there to support you exactly when you need it. We do have some data to share, and if you're interested in the actual where we got those numbers on the previous slide, we have a nice research insights article to share. So if you're interested in getting that, please drop your email address into the chat and I'll make sure that you get a copy. I'm going to pass it over to Walt to talk more about our OneSource partnership.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. I'm odd man out on this call in that I am not a provider. I'm a business consultant. And so I know enough on the clinical side that it's important to have great technology because it makes sure consumers have a great experience. And when that happens, they're not coming back and chewing up valuable time in that they're non-revenue generating at that standpoint, cutting into your ability to generate more revenue. Speaking of, time for your practice from a business perspective is one of the greatest commodities that you have, and it can either work for you or work against you. And in a lot of circumstances, we see where it does work against you. I've actually shared this slide in another presentation. This is actually one of my customers who, when I went into, I believe this is Counselor for them, there was all this white space and just their appointments were kind of scattered and didn't really have a lot of rhyme or reason to it. And the providers, weren't really able to drive any kind of consistency throughout the day. They were constantly reacting to what the next appointment was. But when we added up all the time, we looked at all those individual white spaces where there was nobody in the chair whatsoever. We just took a snapshot of one day, and these three providers, those white spaces you see is the amount of time that there is not a patient in a chair, either from a non-revenue generating standpoint or a revenue generating standpoint. So if you would click for me. So this is, what is this, from like 8 o'clock in the morning only until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So this isn't even a full day. When we added up all that white space between the three providers, it was quite a bit of time. You can see the 30-minute holes, the 60-minute, the 15 minutes. Tough to jam customers into those when they're calling. You got to hunt and, seek in order to find them, to even schedule somebody into them. But what this means to the practice, if you would, one more time, Courtney, it really demonstrates just how much time, when you look at it over the course of a month, how much time's being wasted. So for this particular practice, when we looked at, for these three providers, there's 3 hours of chair time open just in a day, and we looked at that over a 20-day period. It's 60 hours of open chair time. That's a week and a half for a full-time person. So I know any provider or business owner I talk to would kill to get that, 1.5 or even 2 days back to be able to see more patients and provide a great consumer experience as well. This is what it means to you from a financial standpoint. Next, please. So when you look at your profitability from a chair time standpoint, it's simple. It's just your revenue per hour minus your direct costs. So when we look at revenue per hour here at $275 per hour, but the cost is $125 per hour for the chair, that's $150 profit per hour. If you're wasting 10 hours, that's $1,500 lost in profit. And, give or take what it might be for you, again, when you add this up over the course of a year, it adds up to be quite a lot of money. And by the way, that's profit, that's not revenue. So that's probably $40,000-$50,000 in revenue that you have to drive in order to even have that $18,000 in profit. So it's very impactful. Next slide, please. Oh, that's your slide. So I'm going to turn it back to you, Courtney. What I wanted to say is that we can help you with that on the OneSource side. It's really important to ensure you can get your customers in as quickly as possible. That's one of the expectations as a consumer. And if somebody's Googling hearing aids near me and has decided to call you and schedule an appointment, and you're scheduling them 3, 4, 5 weeks out, they're probably going to go to the next practice on the Google search and call them. And if they can get them in earlier, they're going to schedule that appointment. They're probably not going to call you back and say, cancel my appointment. It's going to end up being a cancel no-show. So, and in giving you that time back, that's just more time for you to see more patients and sell more Unitron hearing aids. So back to you, Courtney. You're on mute.
I was on mute. What a rookie move. I apologize. Walter, what I did want to mention, because you mentioned time, and I know providers are always trying to maximize their time in whatever capacity. I think also using Unitron technology and knowing we have so many features built in to help make things easier. We also, because of our sound performance features, patients don't come back as often because they're happier. And when they're happier right away, and you don't have to do a whole lot of adjusting to try to fine tune that hearing aid to meet your patient's needs, we can count on Smile and Integra OS and those features to do that. So it does save time. Using a company like Unitron, it makes your schedule more open for new opportunities.
Yeah, it's a great, when you think about it, if you have less people coming back, for service issues, great first fit, that coupled to taking a look at your schedule and making it a little bit more efficient so that you can see more patients, you can dispense more hearing aids and help more people, that's kind of a business application, doing some things from a business side coupled to great technology really does, impact your revenue and that you can see more patients and dispense more hearing aids.
It's all good stuff. And if you've worked with Unitron before or you haven't, you might have heard of our Flex trial program where patients can test drive a hearing aid out in their real world experience, and we can use that data from the hearing aids in the software to see where your patient is spending their time. This is an incredibly valuable tool that we have at Unitron for you to utilize to get your patients into the technology that's best for them right away. So those are things that if you haven't used this program in your clinic before, reach out to any one of us at Unitron. We're happy to help you understand more about it and how you can start using it with your patients. Just another example of the many tools that Unitron has to offer that will make your life easier and open up your schedule to see more people. So next, I'm actually going to dive into our Easy for You section. I want to look at how Smile and how this new platform makes this experience faster. Our fittings are faster, which I know everyone's excited about. Back to the talk about time, we're always looking for ways to save time. So if you can fit somebody In 4 or 5 clicks, that makes a huge difference. We've also made some changes to our Log It All screen with our new version of the software, so I'm going to show that to you and highlight that. And then we're going to talk about something that Smile providers are loving, which is the fact that we now have Find My Devices. Something people have been asking about for a really long time. And one thing that's great about Unitron is we're small enough where if you need something or you want something done, let us know and we can help get us all there. So good stuff. Programming Smile is faster than ever before, and it is more stable. And that is because of the Era chip and the NoaLink Wireless 2. So if you have a NoaLink Wireless 2 in your clinic, you will find that your Unitron fittings are lightning fast. The things that you used to wait a couple seconds before, maybe when you were fitting Vivante, that's gone away. And going from screen to screen to screen, as we do in our fittings, is seamless and so quick. If you have a NoaLink Wireless 1 or that original version, you will totally be able to program Smile. That is no problem. You just will notice those speed changes with the latest version of the NoaLink Wireless. And some adjustments and adaptations we have made with the Remote Plus app for Smile. We have a new version of our app. It's version 5.3, and we have some great new features that we've come out with to make everything easier for you and your patients. We now have Find My Devices, and I know you're all cheering inside because at our customer event in Orlando a couple months ago, there was an audible cheer when we told providers about this. So we'll go into it a little more in just a moment, but we have some additional programs now we can offer patients, and we also now have that Stay Connected feature in our app. So patients go back and forth seamlessly from the app when they need to make a change to their hearing aid settings. Find My Devices. We are very excited and proud to share this with all of you. Smile patients, when they lose their hearing aids, it happens. I've had patients lose their hearing aids in mall parking lots and in their own car, and they've used tools like this to find them again. So this is a great loss prevention mechanism that we've built in. And what's great about this, it's easy to find. Patients will find this in the Remote Plus app in the Devices tab, and you can see on your screen what that screen inside of our Remote Plus app looks like. And from there, it will show the last known location of the hearing aids on a map. And that's what you're seeing in the next screen. Finally, if the hearing aid is still connected to the phone, the Bluetooth strength will be shown to the patient. And so patients can use this to find the hearing aid, kind of like playing hot and cold. And when the signal gets stronger, you're getting closer. This is just really nice to reassure patients that if they lose hearing aids, which happens, they'll be able to find it. And because now our app stays connected to the hearing aids all the time, patients don't have to reset that connection to make sure that this feature works. It's just going to work all the time. Another exciting thing to mention to all of you is that your Vivante patients also now have the benefit of using Find My Devices. That's awesome. This retroactively goes back to Vivante, so all Smile and Vivante patients can now take advantage of this. And how will users be made aware of this brand new feature in our app? So Smile patients will be prompted to always allow location services when they put the app on their phone for the first time. So I encourage providers to tell your patients to push that button, always allow, so that no matter what, no matter when, no matter where, patients will have access to Find My devices uninterruptedly. Existing Vivante users will get a coach notification to let them know that they now have Find My devices. As soon as they update their app to the newest version, they will get this notification. You see that little red dot next to coach. That means that they have a notification waiting for them, and they can just tap that and get notified that they now have Find My devices. So nothing additional for you providers to do. Patients will all get notified through their app. We do also have 2 new programs in our Remote Plus app that further improve your patient experience when they're relevant. We have a new Bluetooth phone program, which makes it so that the hearing aids remain connected to the Remote Plus app while this program is in use. Previously, patients could not adjust their Bluetooth telephone call through the app. The only way to do that really was the volume on their phone, the volume up and down. There was no way for patients to open up the app and make changes or equalize the call when they're in a call. So now that is possible, which is really nice. We also have a tinnitus manual program, and it's based on a conversation and quiet program. This has not changed as far as the functionality of the program, but what we have added is that if you are a provider and you've added a tinnitus program for your patient, they will now see that in the app. And you can see the screen right there that your patient will also see. So just kind of want to sum this up for all of you, what Smile has to offer. I'm going to kick it back to Walter in just a minute. But one thing that I want to highlight for all of you, and one thing that makes me very proud to work at Unitron, is that our company is very focused on delivering in every single technology level. You can see on your screen everything that we have to offer patients, regardless of technology. We have 4 technology levels at Unitron, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And every single one of those patients has every single thing you see in front of you. And they have access to all of these tools. So regardless of the need of your patient or what they want or what price point they're looking at, we have all of these things for them to use. And this makes me proud of our company because we know how important it is for patients to hear and perform regardless of their situation. Back to you, Walter.
Yeah, thank you. So again, being a business consultant and not clinical, I do have the advantage of talking to hundreds of practices throughout the country. And one of the things I can tell you is routinely, I can see that the practices who demo technology during their HAE, I'm really incredibly outperform the practices from a sales conversion standpoint than those who do. I mean, it really does transform the HAE in terms of, when you're doing your exploration, you're really uncovering all the ways in which hearing loss impacts your patient in terms of like the psychological impact of emotionally, how is it affecting them and those around them? And, what aren't they doing anymore because of their hearing loss? What I see as good practice when practices are doing demos, they're not talking about the hearing aids and the features and the functions of them, while that's part of the conversation. When hearing aids are on someone's ears in the chair, what they're talking about is how their hearing now fixes all of those ways in which their hearing loss was impacting them and their loved ones. So it really is incredibly important to do. It will increase your conversion rate dramatically. It is a much greater consumer experience for your patient, and is incredibly important to do. Financially, it also has an incredible impact on your practice as well. If I could ask you to go one more, Courtney. So as I talked about, moving your front office person's lead to appointment conversion rate from 65 to 75%, it had a $4,000 monthly impact in the model I showed you from a profit. No, I'm sorry, from a revenue standpoint. The same thing's true for your conversion rate. One of the simplest things you can do to improve your conversion rate is to demo technology during your hearing eval with your patient. The technology in many circumstances can sell itself, but is really adopted by the patient when you're able to have a conversation around how the technology that they're experiencing right now and the way that they're hearing overcomes all those ways in which hearing loss was impacting them. It's a huge financial lift for you. The total revenue, can go from, 38 grand in this model to 42 grand, moving the conversion rate by 10 points. And 10 points is conservative in most cases. You can do a 15, 20, 25% jump in your conversion rate just by demoing. So we can help you to come up with some ways to demo technology in your practice. If it's something you'd like for us to do, we have some structure around that and ways in which we've learned from other providers along the way and have stolen from them that we could share from you as well. But incredibly important to do in every respect, from a patient experience standpoint and from a practice management standpoint, in order to drive additional revenue. And again, moving a front office conversion rate from one thing to another, it costs nothing. It's something we can do at OneSource through our own skills. And the same is true here as well. So two really easy ways in which to significantly impact your revenue in ways that don't cost you anything. Let us help you to move your front office conversion rate and your sales conversion rate, and it will have a big financial boost to your practice. And I think the next slide is yours.
Oh, I think it's
Nope,
yours, actually.
that's mine, right? And this is what I was talking about, and I always do this where I start talking about the next slide without moving the next slide. But this is what I was saying: increasing your lead to conversion rate 10%, and then your sales conversion rate. It's really an impactful way to drive additional revenue that falls to your bottom line and enables you to put more money in your pocket. Now I think the next one's yours.
Walter, seeing those numbers that you mentioned about demoing, that's really impactful. And I just want to say, as I mentioned earlier, Unitron is about the demo. We are laser focused on that flex trial experience and using log it all data from the patient to right away, no guesswork required, to determine which technology is best for your patient right out the gate. And if you've never used our log it all screen, it's incredible. But just knowing how impactful that demo really is on your business side, that's really cool to see. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and again, we see, demos all throughout the country. And one of the things I do see, again, not clinical, but I see people have a lot of success with the flex trial piece of the product, and really fits in well with demoing. So I see that quite a bit.
Good to know. And we're getting close to time here, but I do want to wrap us up a little bit and just remind all of you what Smile has to offer. And thankful to OneSource Hearing for your partnership and allowing us to showcase this technology to all of you today. As you remember, we have a brand new Era chip, just making connections easier, making charging easier with charging on the go. We have a brand new design in Smile. We have enhanced Integra OS with features like hyperfocus with dynamic noise reduction and soft speech. We have new features like Find My Devices and faster fittings than ever before. We have a new length receiver, a brand new receivers, SDS6, for you to offer. So Smile really has a lot that's new and a lot to offer you and your patients. Just kind of recapping everything. As always, if you have any questions that are about Smile, please drop them in the chat or feel free to reach out to me at any time personally. I'll drop my email in the chat as well, so you all have it. But any other questions before we wrap up today, or any comments? Anything, Renee, that you see in the chat?
But nothing in the chat. So we will put a bow around this today. So first of all, thank you all for taking the time to join. We heard a lot of great information over the last 50 minutes. This is just scratches the surface of, what we can offer you as a joint partnership. So obviously, I think you've heard, with at Unitron with our new Smile technology and the partnership that we have with OneSource and all of the business services that they offer. Together, we can help attract and retain patients for you, help maximize your profitability, and differentiate your practice from your competitors. So thank you to Courtney, thank you to Walt, and thank you to all for joining today. We look forward and we will be in touch soon. Enjoy your afternoon.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.